Good.
It's preparing. So this is still happening, but we still have the wait. So every one of these, I have to do this like weird opening monologue where I wait for this to confirm through the service that it's actually running.
Even though it's
and they
live.
see me with this, yeah. So that we know it's live.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's live already.
Right. But at the same, so like it's live already, and they see me do this like weird, hey everybody, like. But I have to make sure it gets there, and the only time the times it doesn't work, they don't see it. And it looks like we're live. Here we go. We're on YouTube live, folks. And I'm hearing myself now. All right, so we're good. So it's live, everybody, on YouTube live. This time we had a little trouble with the Facebook Live, so we will be posting this to the Facebook Live as we are doing it. So bear with us. We have a little technical difficulties. But today, Chicagoland Chats, we are talking with Bob and Eve from Coach Eve Swim Lessons and Swim Coaching and Pool Maintenance. They are an amazing dynamic group servicing the local area. But before we get to them, let's talk to our good friend and co-host, Butch Zemar. Butch, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. I'm Butch Zemar from Elite Benefits. I help small to mid-sized companies with their health insurance program and worksite benefits.
So Bob and Eve, I want you to introduce yourself and lay out all it is that you do, the vast number of amazing entrepreneurial things you do, and the ways that you're helping the youth learn to swim and learn safety, pool safety overall. So I'll let you take it from here.
Hey, I'm Bob, and this is Eve. We are from Swim Chicago Southland and Counts Aquatics Group, Coach Eve Learn to Swim CLTS. That is our Learn to Swim program. We're an aquatics-based company. We do everything we can to help a commercial municipal pools become profitable. We started doing swim lessons back in 3rd grade, and we've been together since then. And in 2008, we made a company that did swim lessons. And as we were doing swim lessons, we realized that pools were starting to close. We had to figure out a way to keep all these pools open so people can learn to swim. Real simple. We're water people. We're blue marble people. The earth is 70% water. All the water can, water cures everything. And our mission statement's on the simple side. We're Southsiders, so we do keep it simple. We stop death by preventing accidental drownings. That's what we're all about. And everything we do in our company is geared towards that, from running the pools, cleaning the pools, providing the chemicals for the pools, helping people decide what they need to build their pools, staff their pools better, provide lifeguards, swim lessons, scuba dive lessons, aquafit, aqua exercise, anything we need to keep a pool moving and profitable.
So all things pool is basically it. Now, you guys met in 3rd grade, so that was what, 20 years ago? 15?
Yeah, this was, I'm a blessed man. This was my first crush, my first kiss, and my first breakup, all within a week in 8th grade.
It's like, you guys, it's quite the week. It's a red letter week.
Apparently I didn't do things right, but we've learned to get past that.
You've totally redeemed yourself.
I have. And it's been a pleasure. We are the original self-isolators. We've been isolating since 2008 together. We run our business that way, but I enjoy working with not only my partner, but my wife. It's been a great thing to get through all that we have to go through with this.
So let's start off first off with like your main function. And obviously you listed a lot of the different businesses that you guys entrepreneurially run. Let's talk about your I think the most prominent one, which I believe is really your commercial and municipal pool maintenance and oversight. Is that correct?
Correct.
Let's talk about that a little bit, if you would.
That brings in our most revenue. Right now, all of the pools are closed, as we all know, thanks to all the orders we have to stay at home. This is our peak season. We would typically be hiring and getting ready to staff 19 pools with about 100 lifeguards, 125 lifeguards, and all the other staff. We come out about 212 to 250 employees. We are still planning on opening the pools. We are in contact with Cook County Department of Health, the Illinois Department of Health, and the pools will open. It looks like commercial pools will open about July 4th is what we're looking at. So we'll be open for the July 4th holiday, obviously with a lot of different restrictions. They're not going to be the big water parks where thousands of kids are running around anymore, but they will still be open. Our belief right now, looking at it, is we're going to need staycation vacation locations. People are going to be staying at home. They're going to need places to recreate, and that's where we're trying to prepare our clients to be ready for that. We have homeowners associations, municipals, sports clubs, and we're just trying to prepare all of our clients to be ready for that.
So fantastic stuff. That obviously then you also do swim lessons, correct? So why don't you talk a little bit about the swim programs you guys do and how you connect with the local communities to provide that?
We provide from infant all the way through to adult. The oldest one we've taught how to swim was 92 years old. We also work with adaptive swimmers and special needs swimmers. So we provide swim lessons at municipalities. We partner up with the local park districts that don't have pools and get into high schools. We also partner up with the special recs departments, and we are out of hotels, other park districts, wherever we can find swim lessons.
Kind of like a nomadic tribe for swim lessons. Wherever we can find water, we will show up and try to teach you to swim. Learning to swim is an important skill, we feel. You know, we've done a lot of work with school districts trying to get swimming into the grammar school levels where it used to be. You know, when I went to school, we all learned how to swim. We've kind of gotten away from that due to the risk involved, but it's a skill that's a life skill. Everyone's going to need to learn how to swim, and just learning how to swim gets you over your fear of the water. And going back to what we said, you can do so much to be healthy in the water. You know, one of the greatest benefits people don't realize, just standing in water up to your shoulders. So you're not totally submerged, but just water up to your shoulders pushes pressure on all of our capillaries, forces more blood to our heart for those heartbeats. So just standing in water is healthy. If I can get you walking in the water, exercising against it, it's even greater. So as we're neurotic, water, it's all about water.
Yeah, if you know, our main goal obviously is to teach them to be safe and in and around the water, and to learn how to swim, but also to give them the love and the thrill and understand how much water is good for you, and so they can continue to do it throughout their lives.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the staycation idea that you're talking about. So a lot of people are going to be having staycations. They're not going to be on the road. They're not obviously going to be flying a lot of places. We may see a lot of new in-ground pools or above-ground pools going in people's locations. As swim safety experts, what are your recommendations for the ways that people can protect their families, protect their neighbors, protect people against, you know, something like a pool in the backyard that maybe attract people into the backyard or cause somebody injury?
Good questions on that. So, and we have talking to people in the industry that do pool maintenance, work on the residential pools and things like that. They've seen an increase of people trying to get their pools opened already. Typically, late April through May is a busy season. They started back late March through April opening pools. The biggest thing people need to put around their pools is a fence. You need to have a barrier. We need to have layers of barriers around pools. They're attractive nuisances for everyone. Some horrible stories we have on the safety side is, you know, if a child goes missing and the police find that there's a pool in the property or on the neighbor's property, is one of the first places they look. So fences with self-closing gates, that's the biggest thing we need to do. That's gonna reduce the risk for anyone drowning in there. The second thing is learn.
I think we lost a little bit of the audio. Hold on. Bob, if you wouldn't mind starting over that second bit again, just because we lost your audio for a second. Did you mind? The first thing was obviously the fences, but the second thing was?
Learn to swim. So everyone has to learn how to swim, right? But and it's a skill that everyone needs to understand. And the first thing we teach, and most swim lessons teach the same thing. It's not just ours, but it's when you fall in the water, be able to roll to your back, get to the wall, and get out of the pool. So everyone needs to know that. That way you have those barriers. If you fall in the water, you're protected. Understanding that you have to have a water watcher. Accidental drownings, a drowning victim makes no noise. Contrary to what you see in the TV where they're screaming, help, help. If they're screaming, help, 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 they're not drowning. They're struggling. You need that. But a drowning victim makes no noise, so you always have to have supervision. If there's people in the water, someone needs to be designated as a water watcher, just watching the water to make sure no one's drowning. And then for us, the last thing we teach everyone is you can all be a lifeguard. You don't have to be certified to be a lifeguard, but you need to be able to reach, throw, or, you know, if you're in a boat on a lake, open water, row out to them. Reach with something. Reach with a branch. Reach with a broom. There's tons of things on a pool deck or in a backyard that's only where they can reach to save. So being able to reach to save someone who's drowning. Don't ever go in the water try to save a drowning person. A drowning person is going to, lifeguards are trained how to approach a person, how to get them out of the water and protect themselves at the same time. Someone drowning is terrified. They're fighting for their life. They're going to pull you down, and the possibility of having two drowning victims is there.
Yep. And you obviously, your team actually teaches lifeguard skills, correct?
Absolutely. We do lifeguard training, certified lifeguards. We also certify pool managers and pool operators along with that. But yeah, lifeguard training, that's our passions are kind of split that way. Eve's passion is trying to teach people to swim. My passion is drowning prevention with lifeguards. we're very emotional about our job, but we're very emotional when I hear about a drowning. Drownings are preventable, unless someone's actually held down to the water, but the accidental drownings are preventable. 9 people drown in the United States every day and 44 people worldwide. And I have been telling those numbers since 2008. We started our business, and we haven't made a hill of beans of difference. We do about 35,000 swim lessons a year, and people are still drowning in numbers that are great. So, barriers are the biggest thing on family pools. Commercial pools have those already built in and they're inspected, but the barriers and the gates have to be closed. Too many times we go to a pool, you'll see that the fence is around it, but they're leaving the gate open because it's an obstacle. It's too hard. I don't want to come out of my patio and have to open the gate to get into my pool. So we have to have the barriers with the self-closing gates to protect everyone. And technology now. There is some technology available where you can put a sensor in the pool. When it senses the waterway shaking, it'll send an alarm to everyone on their phones. There's cameras that can go under the water and things like that. So even with technology, we can start to watch your pools, but the barriers need to be there. Fences, learn to swim, and supervision.
And I've heard too that I'm sorry, I didn't step on your comment, Eve, but I've also heard that removing like ladders or removing access in might be another good way to prevent. Do you agree with that, or do you find that that's too small of a hurdle?
It depends on removing the ladder for the pool that has the pool deck that's up to the edge of the pool, that's not going to help anything. But if the ladder's from the ground up, that's why the ladders all have the flip up and a place to padlock them. So many times you'll see people just throw the ladder up, but they don't padlock it or secure it so the kids can take it down and get in the water.
Sorry, Eve, what were you saying?
Another thing is make sure you don't have any floating attractive objects sitting in the water just hanging there, because that's only attract the kids to try to reach for them and so forth. And if you have a family party, my suggestion would be to ask a neighbor that that's an adult or a lifeguard just to come outside of your family, because if it's a family member watching, sometimes they have a tendency to get distracted.
And Adam, like you brought up earlier, the pools are an attractive nuisance. I mean, we all know, every homeowner is told that when they put that in, it's an attractive nuisance. So having that fence up and keeping the floaties out, you may be protecting your family, but you have to realize the neighbors can see it. Each house on each side of you, their kids could see it. Someone walking down the street could possibly see it. It's going to attract the child into that water.
Definitely.
Last thing you want is to pull someone out of your pool. Now, we've always had a policy in our home. If someone drowned in our pool, we're throwing them over the fence, and it's somebody else's problem. They didn't drown in my pool. I don't know how they ended up over there. But it's a serious thing, so it's not. We don't want anyone to have to deal with that. So be aware that they are dangerous items. They're fun. They're great recreation. You can do a lot to benefit your life health in them, but you have to have supervision, even with adults in there.
So
now,
given that, sorry, go ahead, Butch.
Yeah, I was just going to add. So assuming that we're able to lift some of this quarantining, especially in the state of Illinois, and people are welcome to go interact in public again, these pools are going to open up. What are some things that we need to be cautious of going forward with all the COVID-19 stuff and viruses with the public pool environment? Are there any tips that you could provide, not only just as maybe on the maintenance side, but also the consumer side as we're going to venture and have fun with these public pools? So
interesting you asked that. It's if you'd asked me this last week, we would have had a sheet that had about 3 lines on it. Now the industry is looking for, we've gotten the return to open America again, or the White House's plan, which it was a great baseline. It gave us something to start looking at. It was a starting point. And all of the industries, we've had calls for our swim lessons business, how we're going to start with that and back for the pools. One of the things that the community is going to have to get used to seeing is there's going to be screening happening. Same thing like employees, you have to screen. Our employees will be screened before they come on site. They'll have a questionnaire that they ask that answers. They'll come in with a phone app that says, I'm green. They've answered the right questions on social distancing. They've not been exposed to anyone in 24 hours that's tested positive COVID-19. They don't feel sick and all that. Then we'll do a temperature screen. And if the temperature screen's green and their questionnaire is green, my staff is allowed to come to work that day. And we're going to be doing the same kind of screening for our guests. The biggest thing you'll see at any of the community pools when they open up will be the reduced in numbers. Capacity is going to be greatly reduced so we can keep the social distancing. Most pools are designed capacity-wise to allow 15 square feet to 25 square foot per patron. So that gives them a patron count. We're going to step that up to almost 30 square feet to get the social distancing we need. So you're going to see a lot less ability for the pools to have people. And the industry is looking at time sets where, it'll be open for 3 hours, closed for 30 minutes, so we can totally sanitize, open for 3, closed for 30, sanitize. A lot more focus on the sanitization procedures. Pools have been uniquely positioned for this. We've had to sanitize every day in the state of Illinois. It's part of the health code. We have to sanitize every day, and we have to monitor the people coming through the gate to make sure they're not bringing in any infectious diseases. So we've already been positioned to do that. With COVID-19, now that it's an airborne, it's a little bit more straight, a little bit level we have to step up. So, but the pools is most of the park district we talk to. If we can open by July, the pools are going to open in limited capacity at first. No deck chairs for social distancing. And as we hit phase 2 and phase 3, more and more will come back. Phase 3, you should see most of the slides back active and the attractions. In phase 1, when that opens, like with the gym, we use some of the fitness centers, they'll be able to open theirs. We're looking at more just like lap swim or group lessons of 5 or more group, exercise classes. So, but we have to be prepared for some changes like that.
Has there been any studies about chlorine or the other disinfectants that are natural to the pool water actually having an effect on the virus, or do we even know?
Actual studies on the virus? No, there's been no studies that show that chlorine does affect COVID-19, but the CDC, the World Health Administration, the Hot Tub Alliance, Pool and Hot Tub Alliance have all put out the water is safe. The water, because of the chlorine, as long as it's properly maintained. Public pools are required in Illinois to be tested twice a day. Public health inspectors come out once during the season to check it also. So the operation is logged and everything. As long as we're meeting those criteria, the water is safe. So we just have to make sure everyone stays in the water. It's when they stand up and cough on someone, walk on the deck, go through the locker room. So those are the things we're going to see the biggest changes. For us on the operations side, we've invested in a system where we'll be able to make our own sanitizer on site. That way it's a natural sanitizer. It's hypochloric acid. And we're going to be going through so much. Sanitizer went up from $7 to $8 a gallon for us on the industrial side to almost $15. I can make this for 6 to 8 cents a gallon. It's going to help us because we're going to be through mass quantities of sanitizing. Sanitizing a commercial facility for us, we're looking at fogging it. I'm not having someone wipe it down. The aquatics industry is a lot of first-time workers, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, first jobs. So I have to, teach them what clean means, because our definition of clean, what most youth coming through the world is clean, and how to do it. So having them constantly wipe it down is not going to work for us. So we use a fogger, electrostatic. It'll coat the equipment, and once it dries, it's sanitized and we're ready to go again. I mean, look at all the touch surfaces. Think about a commercial pool. The slides, the rails, the inner tubes, all of that has to be figured out how to be, so that's not in phase 1. We won't have those. Phase 2, phase 3, we'll start to bring those back in.
So, Bob and Eve, if you don't mind, let's talk about the operations for pool management just for a quick moment, kind of spotlight that a little bit. I guess, what are some of the reasons why a public pool, for example, or owned by either a community of forest preserve or private entity or public entity, that why would they outsource to a company like you, and what kind of advantages and rate of return that they would be able to get on that?
I think from our experience, there's been a lot of reasons, but the biggest thing that we bring through the door is we activate your pool. So we can help our dream, our vision, our goal. Everything we do is to turn a pool into a profit center. So we look at that as there's 4 pillars. We've got the horizontal, the vertical, we get community swimming going in there. The other side is risk management. When we come into a pool, our contract is written, we're the ones responsible. This is all we do 365 days a year is consider risk in a pool. How do I mitigate it? Whether it be through daily inspections where we log them daily electronically, our lifeguards training, logged on services, everything is done so we can prove it. So I have that body of knowledge. Not that we just said we did it. It's in our handbook. We enforce it. We test it. We have all.
Did you freeze there?
I think we got a little hiccup. It'll take a second.
One of the pools we do out in Chicago Ridge, or in Matson, we do a drive-in movie. We got an inflatable movie projector in the season. We put that up. We treat them all to ice cream and hot dogs. We want the communities to the pool. Obviously, we do it for our reasons too. The more people that come in the pool, the more chances we have to do swim lessons. The more swim lessons we do, the greater chance we have of reducing the risk of drowning. So it's all focused us. It goes back to that. We're business people. We're probably not the best business people. We do a lot of things because we're passionate about.
Looks like we're having a little audio difficulty right now.
Yeah.
And they like that. Like if there's a problem, they just come to us and then we get to fix it. They don't have to deal with any of it.
So there's really, I mean, but you guys are basically sharing is there's not only a process benefit to working with a company like yours, there's also a resource and you're marshaling your resources for it. And at the same point, you have the same interest, the shared interest of making sure that people are safe, people are having clean facilities to work with. We had a little bit of sound issue while you were kind of sharing, so I just wanted to kind of reiterate what I think you guys were talking about. Does that sound like a fair recitation?
Yeah. And it is, you know, we hire 200 lifeguards. We have pools from as far north as Northbrook. We're all the way down to Matson, Illinois, and all between. So I have lifeguards in many different areas. We're downtown, the Peninsula Hotel, Lake Point Towers. We work with those pools also. So I have the ability that we have staff that can get there. We have area managers that can get there. My pools are always covered. They're always being inspected. And me and Eve, we're lifeguards. We're trained, certified. So there's times you may see us sitting in a chair. We will do whatever we can to protect our clients' water and make sure their pools never have to close. And then we bring that wealth of experience to the bigger commercial settings, you know, where we can bring in swim lessons. We take a pool that you've had just lap swimming in, and I bring in kayaks. We bring in paddle boards. We do yoga on paddle boards. Anything we can to get your people, your community coming back to the pool and making it part of their lifestyle.
Yeah, we create the environment that the customer wants. You know, even downtown Peninsula and so forth. We're lifeguards there, but we don't.
They don't look like lifeguards. We still deal with the patrons when there's nothing going on. They'll fold the towel. They'll make sure that people get their lunch orders in. But they're certified water rescuers, and they've had to do some rescues. So we're an all-purpose water-based company, I guess. And it's our key to our success. You know, we started during the recession in 2008. We've expanded during this point, growing our business to do more. You listen to your clients, and we tailor what we want. It's our management company, and we're going to do whatever we can to make your pool safe. But if you don't want lifeguards, but you want people to save lives, we can make that happen. I put someone in a shirt, and they're still trained water rescues, but they don't have the big rescue tube. Everyone's, you know, they don't have a tube that says guard, but they're still guards. You know, we can do that. We can do whatever we need to. You want just swim lessons? We bring that. You want us to run your programming? We can do that.
You know, it was really interesting. We met a couple months ago for breakfast, and I wanted to hear more. I think people need to hear about the stories and the ways that you've actually incorporated the swim lessons into communities and into schools and providing actual uses for pools that maybe were built back in the day when the school originated and they've lost use for them. I think the community needs to hear about the ways in which you guys are partnering with local community schools and stuff to teach maybe those who wouldn't otherwise have the availability of swim lessons and made it part of the curriculum. Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think our most recent success was Rosa Parks Middle School. It's in a community, West Harvey, Dixmoor, and they had a pool. They had been doing gym class swim lessons, and they lost their gym teacher who was certified to do swim lessons. They weren't doing good swim lessons. We were invited in this year to do the swim lesson there. And the neatest thing about our community swim programs, when we go in, we can work with we've done swim programs with Grant from USA Swimming to help community that when we took over the pool, it was sitting empty with volleyball nets in it. We had them fill the pool. We went back in. We do the swim lessons. We do community-based swim lessons. And in a community that's never had swimming, our staff has to come in. At this time, it was in an African-American-based community. We brought in Caucasian swim instructors. And we taught the African-American community kids how to swim. Well, teaching a child how to swim, I've now saved their life. They stay with us long enough and they learn how to swim well enough. They come back and become a lifeguard and learn to be a swim instructor. They're saving other people's lives, and they're making a livelihood teaching swim instructing. So as we went down the road, we then got contracts to do swim lessons in Caucasian communities, and we were bringing our African-American swim instructors there because that's what we had the plethora of, and we started to build that. So, you know, Rosa Parks is our most recent one out there. We've done an entire gym class, did 160 kids every quarter until the pool's closed, obviously.
Yeah. We were finding that the teachers were trying to get the kids back into our class on the second quarter because the kids have been able to focus better in class and so forth. So they were really using it, and they were also using it as a reward system because once a week we'd always do free swim for them. So the kids then started doing their homework because they wanted that free swim. So it did make a difference in the community, and we're looking forward to continuing it when we can get back into it. But yeah.
It's really cool. It kind of creates a self-sustaining experience. And then also you were able to maybe develop some swim teams, right? Some competitive swim events, and so people finding a little more of a passion in the community for another athletic endeavor, right? So
right.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody is built to be a basketball player or a football player or karate or so forth.
You know, I was a swimmer too. But Illinois and swimming is a unique sport. So we can start at 8 unders. We have 6-year-old competitive events, 8 and under events, but we also have master swimmers. There's 90-year-old athletes still competing in the pool that you can't see them. They don't compete in basketball. They don't compete in hockey anymore. They don't compete in football or baseball, but they can still get in the water and be competitive. And they are competitive. Although most of them know exactly, you know, I'm the 3rd fastest swimmer in the state of Illinois. Number 1's got cancer. Number 2's 92. So I may be moving up soon, but.
Yeah. But not everybody's coordinated enough to do stuff on land. The water is a neutralizer almost.
yeah, and the water's a lifetime sport, right? There's nothing that gets you out. Like you said, as a 90-year-old thing, you can do it forever, which is a great athletic event. You can't always run marathons forever. You can't always do those you can't play basketball. I know sometimes I try and get out there, feel it for a couple days. So absolutely, like that's some fantastic stuff. Now, you guys, the other thing I'm really always impressed by you is your entrepreneurial spirit, like the growth you had. And you talked about the hand sanitizer you guys are going to be creating. Is that something you maybe potentially be selling to the public? Because I know that's something that there's a ton of demand for. And you know, are there other things you're maybe thinking about too to kind of keep going and on the entrepreneurial front?
Always on that. So yeah, the hand sanitizer is the biggest thing. We did partner and at one point owned a sanitization company that would go around and actually do buildings. And unfortunately, we had that for 18 months. In January of this year, our partnership ended. We sold that off to the vice president of royalties. Bad timing on our part because they're working their butts off right now.
Kind of goes with the business part of us.
And we've done commercial laundries are another thing we looked at. Again, pools have towels. Fitness centers have towels, so we got into the ability to clean those towels, launder those towels. Got us into some hotels where they only did laundry service, but then we're able to talk to them about managing their pools. We're always looking for any way to tie in our business. As we started our conversation, talk about we just purchased a building in this to build a Celts Aquatic Fitness Center. It's our vision that we're going to have a small boutique gym. It'll have a fitness pool, a hydrotherapy pool that will be used for sports rehab. And it's more of a fitness center. It's not. We'll do swim lessons. We'll do all of that, but we're also looking at bringing in aqua Zumba, dancing in the water. They have aqua pole dancing. They can do bicycling, spin bike in the water, aqua drum. There's aqua ballet, aqua exercise. There's tons of water-based fitness programs that people can do that, depending on how deep you're in the water, it makes it easier for you. If you have bad knees, I can reduce the weight load on your knees, still give you the cardio workout. Plus, don't forget the advantage we talked about where that blood is being pushed up to our heart to pump more. So you have that fitness scale. Some of the harder or heavier people, as they're starting to diet, getting into a gym on a treadmill is not doable. We have treadmills in the pool that we can get them on there so they can still float, they can balance, and they can still get that exercise. So
it's awesome. Yeah.
We're always looking, always trying to find ways where I can tie water, into what we're doing.
That includes scuba diving, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Scuba Butch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, watch out. Butch is going to show up at your front door with flippers on. He's going to be just waddling in.
So that's one of the things we found also is we have access to a deep water pool. One of our partners we partner with, Dive Right in Scuba, we use their pool to do swim lessons. 9 feet water, there is an entire line of water-based workouts that's geared more towards more fitness buff with weights. It's a Navy SEAL workout that they do in the water and things like that, where they dive down with weights, come back up. You get a good cardio workout and all of that, along with increasing your volume of oxygen and things like that we're moving into. If we have a deep enough water pool, we can bring that out to. When I talked about water exercise, any man that's listening right now probably rolled their eyes. I'm not going to go in the water and exercise.
With all those old ladies.
Bring it. You come in the water and exercise. We've done it with some of the football players, for the high school football players. Brought them in for a cardio workout on deck where they just ran, and then brought them in for a cardio workout in the pool. and you're going to be working more muscles. People don't realize when you're in the water's always pushing you. So your core is always being expanded. You always have to balance yourself. So that's the benefit of that. And that particular benefit we found when we bring to nursing homes, senior centers. If I bring in our water exercise program, put your seniors in the water, it's going to help reduce your slip and falls at nursing homes and things like that. So, which is a risk on the insurance side that's been recognized that helps stop that. There's less trips, there's less slips, there's less falls, less of the patients are rolling out of bed. They have the core strength, and all we're doing is put them in the water, starting them with water walking, starting them with slow arm movements. We do aqua pai chai, aqua yoga, aqua tai chi is one of the other ones that we can do in the water. That all helps them with no impact, but reduces the risk for the actual center itself.
So, Butch, you got any more questions you want to ask them?
No, I think you hit a lot, and I think you're doing a lot of great things. Even when I was talking to Adam about before the call, I was like, your biggest focus is to save those lives, and I think that passion's so deep that it brings out everything else you're trying to do and tie back to the water. I think we covered a lot here. I think we definitely went through some home safety stuff that with the quarantine and everybody possibly doing a lot of staycations or just sticking around their house. There's a lot of safety tips, and learn how to swim is definitely key. And then obviously move into the pool management part of your business. And I think you do a lot of great things because there's not a whole lot of companies that do what you do and bring that value to the table so that municipalities or other private entities could still have safe grounds and make money a little bit depending on what profit zone you're in.
Thanks, Butch.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I mean, you're saving lives both on land and at sea, right? Because you're talking about some of the stuff you're doing with the nursing homes and the like. Well, the last thing we want to make sure, and it's not really the last thing, but we always want to make sure that people leave knowing how to get in touch with you guys. So if they have a need, if they're maybe thinking about they have a pool of their own, or if they're working in a municipality and they want to pair up with a group like yours who can help them both on their bottom line as well as in their service and their employment kind of silo, what is the way to get in touch with Bob and Eve to better set up their situation?
Easiest way to get in touch with us is go to our website, swimchicagosouthland.com, Coach Eve at swimchicagosouthland.com, or I'm bob.welch at swimchicagosouthland.com. Send us a line, give us an email, go onto the website. You can see what we offer. There's a place to put in some questions there, and we'll get in touch with you.
So the last thing before we go, do you have like a phone number or anything else that you would want to give out, or is it mostly just email? Is that what you want to stick with?
We'll do phone numbers. It's 708-SWIM-411. So,
it's a great
love
one.
It.
Perfect. Thanks everybody for joining us on Chicagoland
fun.
Chats. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Eve. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
really
Bob
appreciate you guys.
Yep. Thanks, Adam.
Check out Swim Chicago Southland, so that they can find ways that maybe you can get into their pool classes, get a workout, take the underwater deep water challenge, which I think would be an awesome one to put out to these guys who think they can handle it, or think water aerobics or water workouts are weak. I'm jazzed up. I might have to take you up on it. So we'll see everyone later this week with Chicagoland Chats. Thanks everybody. Thanks again, Bob, Eve. We'll talk to you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone have a great one. Stay safe.